everyone. So I'm going to be covering a Reggio inspired classroom from Joyful Learning. So here at the beginning of the video, she's giving a tour of her quiet area. I love the space as it invites children to be curious about surrounding material near them, to inquire and explore it. The self-portraits here are, I believe, pastel and created by students, which is great to have in the classroom. You'll notice a lot of art in her room. The nature materials again in Reggio, the books on the shelf for students to wonder about and provoke new exploration for the children. I love that in here she actually has books color coordinated by the rainbow, and they did have a rainbow inquiry, which is really neat. So the children go back and they color coordinate the books, which was, I think, is very clever. So this is just a portion of her space in her room. So, and I love how it's not cluttered. It's a very great space for kids to, even for self-regulation. So just a piece of furniture, and the next thing she's going to is her documentation. So you'll notice in her room there's a lot of documentation happening, and I love that. That was one area I was very curious about with Reggio. So here she's just explaining how that process works and how she goes about with documentation in her classroom. I'm going to just go by a little bit with more of a summary and then have the video play. So one that I found really fun is actually this one she's coming up to is a document tree. So there are translucent photos of students working in the math center. So I thought that was really neat to have in a classroom. Very inspiring actually, because that's something I never thought about. So again, a lot of math provocations, and math is actually a big part in her practice. So she shows many provocating activities in the room. So again, more documentation. You'll notice at the bottom here there is a code that parents can actually take a picture of on their phones, and it'll bring up the documentation. So I thought that was really cool again, just to see that idea, because that's something again I never thought about. So for all of us who are wondering about Reggio, that's our documentation, that's great. So there's more materials, those parts and stuff for the kids to experiment with numbers and math. So I thought that was really great. And again, just explaining her math center there. She's going to be moving to her drama center, which I thought was a great part of her room. She goes into great detail of the space and how she utilizes the materials for the center. She goes actually into great detail about using more real hands-on materials. And what I mean by more real hands-on is I think she's talking about using glass cups, silver spoons, like more silverware type of things, which I thought was neat, because as kindergarten teachers, we think about more safety, but she is actually talking about using more of that type of materials in the drama center. So I thought that was really neat. So I'm just going to fly by a little bit faster here throughout the video, but her carpet space is very spacious for students to build structures. You'll notice as she goes through the videos, the shelves in her classrooms are filled with materials, natural materials for children to cover or to discover about and wonder about. I love the whimsical feel of the items that she has in her room. I believe she will actually cover it here soon. Here is the block center, and a lot of bird inquiry that's up there, which I think is neat, and the fabric. So a lot of inspiring, sparking curiosity, great materials, great things utilized here. Furthermore, you'll see in the video she actually has clipboards for students that are easily accessible to them in the writing center, binders for portfolios, which is fantastic for students to take home to collect any evidence of that enriched learning environment. She will show a loose parts building table full of materials for students to interact with, a science area, art walls, and many more materials to spark that curiosity and wonder in students in their learning. So I think this is just a great video, such a great example of what Reggio looks like in a classroom. So I hope you enjoy the rest of the video, and thank you for taking the time and listening to this.